So in the aftermath of Qatar harbouring, housing, accommodating Hamas terrorists, and pretending to be this neutral arbiter for Israel and Hamas, it actually turns out that they are very much not a neutral moderator. They are aiding, abetting Hamas, Islamist terror, and they've pretended for far too long that they had nothing to do with any of that. But if you follow the money, if you follow their actions, it all leads back to supporting. And I want to show you this clip of Hillel Neuer and the Qatar representative at the UN Human Rights Council. Hillel Neuer, of course, runs UN Watch, which is like a NGO monitoring the absurd activities of the United Nations. And here he is with the Qatari representatives, who's very upset that Israel has decided to breach Qatar's sovereign boundaries in order to destroy the modern-day Nazis that they are housing. How terrible indeed.
Israel targeted my country, which is a mediator in the conflict. We condemn the attack on residential buildings where members of Hamas political organisation live. This is a flagrant violation of international conventions.
Our solidarity is with the state of Qatar in the face of the illegal bombing by Israel.
We condemn the Israeli attack, which has targeted the state of Qatar.
Israel's state terrorism, which we condemn, spreads to new countries and targets even the mediators. We stand with Qatar.
We also strongly condemn Israel's unlawful and heinous bombing in Qatar.
Violation of sovereignty and international law.
I now give the floor to United Nations.
I've got to tell you, you got Iran there, Turkey, Venezuela. Wow, that's how you know you are on the wrong side of history, when those lot are against you. Then you know you're in trouble. Not.
Let's watch.
Mr. President, we have heard a lot about international law from the world's worst violators of international law.
Indeed.
It's time to challenge the perpetrators. And so we ask Qatar, if you don't want targeted bombings against terrorists in your capital, why do you harbor terrorists in your capital? Terrorists who are still holding hostages, torturing them, and rejecting peace deals. Why did you host Hania, Mashal, and Al-Khaya in luxury hotels from where they planned their terror? Why did you back Hamas's Gaza coup in 2007? Why have you funneled billions since then, fueling their terror machine, empowering their 5 wars against Israel? Why did you blame Israel for October 7th, absolving Hamas of massacring 1,200 Israelis, Americans, and others? Why is your state-owned Al Jazeera serving as the terror group's non-stop propaganda arm? Why do you act as a mediator by day and a terror sponsor by night? Mr. President, the record shows Qatar is a state sponsor of terror. The Gulf states said so in 2017 when they suspended ties with Qatar. Now, yesterday, Antonio Guterres and French President Macron condemned Israel. But when the U.S. killed bin Laden in Pakistan, the UN chief at the time celebrated that, quote, justice has been done to such a mastermind of international terrorism. France called it a victory for all democracies. We ask both. How is this different? Now, when Israel captured the Nazi Adolf Eichmann, rescued the hostages at Entebbe, and destroyed Saddam's nuclear reactor, the UN condemned Israel. Each time...
Sorry, I have a point of order. Sorry, a delegation of Pakistan.
Thank you, Mr. President. While we believe in constructive engagement with the civil society organizations and value their inputs, we urge you to ensure that no speaker violates the principles and purposes of the UN Charter and the territorial integrity of sovereign member states. We reject casting unfounded accusations and allegations.
Thank you. Points of order are on procedural issues, not on substantive issues. I give the floor back to United Nations Watch for 4 seconds.
Mr. President, Pakistan is another state sponsor of terror.
Exactly right. And that's a really good point, that you know that when Israel the Mossad went in to capture Adolf Eichmann, one of the chief architects of the Holocaust, the UN, it seems, condemned Israel. And it looks like the same thing happened when they went to capture their own hostages in Uganda, where the president of Uganda at the time, Idi Amin, was allowing the terrorists to hold these Jews hostage in his own country. And Israel said, you know what, we're going to go in there and we are going to take back our people. And the UN, what did they say? The Secretary General at the time, Kurt Waldheim, he said the raid was a serious violation of the sovereignty of Uganda. That's his own words. So the United Nations has no moral standing to lecture Israel on anything, and Qatar certainly doesn't as well. And I want to go through with you some examples of Qatar's support for Islamist terrorist organizations, and specifically Hamas, to show you that they are very much not a neutral arbiter. They are supporters and aiding Hamas. So let's go through the list, shall we? We'll be back to the video in just a moment, but before we continue, I wanted to quickly share a message with you. With all that's going on in Israel, many of us wonder, what can we actually do to help? This Rosh Hashanah, this Jewish New Year, there's something powerful we can all do. Leket Israel, the National Food Bank, rescues surplus, nutritious food, fresh produce from farmers, hot meals from hotels, even IDF bases, and distributes it nationwide through a network of non-profits to families in need. Every week, they feed 415,000 Israelis. But now, with war and the rising cost of living, the need has exploded. Their goal this Rosh Hashanah is 600,000 holiday meals, so no one has to begin this year hungry. And spiritually, we know that this is the time. In our high holiday prayers, we say, Teshuvah, Tefillah and Tzedakah, repentance, prayer and charity, can change the harshness of the decree for our world and our lives. Giving at this moment carries special weight. Just $180 provides 120 meals. So if you've been asking yourself, how can I help Israel right now? This is one of the most impactful ways. Just click the link in the video description and join Leket in reaching their goal of 600,000 meals for Israelis. So let's go through the list, shall we? Number 1, huge financial aid to Gaza under Hamas rule. Qatar is estimated to have given around $1.8 billion to the Hamas-run government in Gaza over recent years. Number 2, hosting the Hamas leadership. High-ranking Hamas officials live in Doha. Number 3, documents have been seized in Gaza showing Qatar is a main artery for Hamas funding. Number 4, Qatar's political support and statements. Political support includes not condemning certain Hamas attacks, blaming Israel exclusively, or advocating for Israel to be held responsible for violence in conflicts involving Hamas. Number 5, efforts to provide leadership cover and legitimacy. Qatar has allowed Hamas officers, communications leadership to function in its territory, providing them with diplomatic fodder. Number 6, interference with peace or normalization efforts. Reports say that Qatar has in some cases tried to oppose or undermine peace deals or normalization with Israel in coordination with Hamas. Number 7, humanitarian aid flows that benefit Hamas-controlled authorities. Some of Qatar's aid is channeled into areas under Hamas control, where Hamas is the de facto government, so parts of that assistance help sustain Hamas infrastructure. Number 8, media and incitement and religious support. This is a critical one. There are claims of Qatari media, education and religious messaging which support or legitimize Hamas lines and resistance and rhetoric, not to mention Al Jazeera in particular. Number 9, Qatar's foreign policy alignment with Islamist Muslim Brotherhood-aligned groups. Qatar's ties with them and some of its Islamist political stances reflect these ties. And number 10, there's been admission from Qatari officials and leaked acknowledgements showing that Qatari leaders agree in principle to discreetly, financially and otherwise support Hamas, quote, supply the resistance discreetly. That's a quote that was heard, and raising funds for the Hamas leadership. So I want you to be in absolutely no doubt about Qatar. And it's time that we stop trying to dance around the edges and be nuanced about it. Let's call a spade a spade. Qatar is aiding and abetting Hamas, and Israel had every right, but not just right, a duty to go in and try and destroy them. And we should instill fear into our enemies, and Israel should keep going until they hunt down every single Hamas leader and eliminate them from the face of the earth. A quick message before we finish. We have been lied to about the Palestinians from beginning till end. Have a watch of the trailer for our new documentary called The Invention of the Palestinians, How a Nation Was Invented to Destroy Another. And if you want to watch the full thing, just click on the link in the video description. The Palestinians. We have been told they are an ancient people fighting for their homeland which has been stolen from them. This narrative has fueled decades of conflict, painting Israel as an occupier of stolen land. But what if this identity is not of an ancient nation, but a modern, cynical invention? a political construct designed not to build a state, but to dismantle the Jewish one. In this JTV Plus documentary, we're going to uncover the truth behind the creation of the Palestinian identity, how it was forged in the fires of pan-Arabism, absent in historical records until strategically rebranded in the 1960s by leaders like Egyptian-born Yasser Arafat to rally global opposition against Israel. We'll trace its roots from the Ottoman era, where Palestine was a region without a distinct people, through the pre-1948 years of Arab rejectionism, before focusing on the pivotal shift of the 1960s, when Arafat declared we should now be known as Palestinians, inventing symbols like the flag to mask genocidal aims. This wasn't about self-determination, it was about exploiting refugees, suppressing true aspirations under Arab rule, and perpetuating a war to destroy Israel. Join us as we debunk the myths of an ancient Palestinian nation, expose the strategic manipulation, and reveal how this construct has hindered peace while fueling hate. Fair but firm, this is the story of an identity weaponized not for building a future, but for erasing one. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.